I can't wrap my mind around how they've successfully managed to limit the spectrum of debate in these like extreme corporatist positions. Like now we're debating, oh, did he mean $1,400 or did he mean $2,000? Like either way, they don't even come close to what the government should be doing to help people out right now. That doesn't even come close to the assistance that they should have been providing to the public during this emergency. So that's another thing that where they like you cannot make sense of their position. You can't keep calling them leftists where they're advocating for neoliberal policies and neoliberal positions. Giving people like Bernie was before when they were doing the negotiations for the stimulus checks before the election. Bernie was going around with Josh Hawley and he was like, "Oh yeah, let's give everybody a $1,200 check," and that was just like met with a round of applause by people on the left. I'm like, "Oh my God, look at Bernie Sanders fighting for us." But in reality, what the fuck are you fighting for? You're fighting for a means-tested $1,200 check that millions of people aren't going to get in the 10 fucking months into the worst economic crisis in history. And that's what you're arguing for, a fucking $1,200 check? So, like, the whole spectrum of debate is so way off. And, like, these elected progressives, they just accept it. And they don't even push back. They don't even try to reset the Overton window to a place that makes sense. It's because what the bare minimum should have always been from the CARES Act was, we're not settling for shit. We're not settling for shit unless there's $2,000 UBI for everybody in this country in the middle of this pandemic. And if that was what the government did from back in March, people would have got like $20,000 by now. So this whole, did Joe Biden mean $1,400? Did he mean $2,000? I don't give a fuck what he meant, because at the end of the day, it's not anywhere near what he should be doing. And like, I feel like the bar is people just accept the shittiness of the politicians in Congress and in DC. And they'd be like, oh, well, they're liable to not give us shit and they will leave us for dead in the middle of a crisis. So, $600, that's something. $1,200 is something. $2,000 is something. So let's just argue for that. And when we get that and it's gone immediately, we could spend another 10 months arguing for another means-tested check that millions of people won't get. Like, this whole approach to the economic crisis has made no sense from the beginning. And nobody in Congress has ever taken a step back to reevaluate it and say, okay, so the checks are one thing. Like, the whole means testing the checks and the whole one-time check shit, nobody has really forcefully pushed back against that in Congress. Nobody's pushed back against putting money into the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, which has been a proven corporate scam the entire time. Most of the money goes to big corporations anyway. But yet, in every single stimulus bill, there's always more billions of dollars more funding to add to PPP. So, like, all of the shitty parts of the CARES Act have just been grandfathered into the conversation. And when people talk about, okay, so what's the government going to do next? It's just like, all right, let's just do some more shit that we did in the CARES Act and again, do it one time. Like, I can't wrap my mind around how far the discussion is from where it needs to be.
Yeah, it's really insane. And meanwhile, how many people are going to die during the time that they're going to be debating like what we're going to do next, like for 10 months, like how many people are going to die from like during that time. Thank you, North American Ape said, "Oh snap, is that unapologetic? That's what's up." So we got some mutual fans watching here. Yes. Shout out to you guys. So yeah, last thing I'm gonna say is, and I'm gonna leave this message for everybody, is when